Hey lads and ladies, the British guy here, and welcome to a brand new series on the channel. A series, an idea that I made up. It is kind of inspired by AD's Pro's Wixo series, if you've seen that. It's a new series. It is called The Dawn of Civilization. We go from early stages of civilizations, little tribes, forming their own thing and kind of expanding to the modern day. We just keep going until whenever I decide to end the series. This is episode 1. You can see here it is a custom map, as it is what you guys have voted for. I will show all the poll results in the video on screen now, so you guys can see. It was very close to being between an Earth map and a custom map, but it is a custom map that has won. This is the map that I spent a lot of time making. I'm very proud of this river down south, by the way. This is the map, and we will be starting over here on the western side of the world, right down in these rivers. So a few rules of the game, of this series. Because we're using Doodle Empires, these cards at the top are always going to be random. That's, if you've seen this game before, you know what I mean. Whatever card is pulled, we have to fit it into the story, or into the series, I guess you could say. So if a nation gets a split, we have to try and say why they've split, and things like that. I can choose what nations I want to pull a card, and I can draw wherever I want, I can give them law, whatever I want, things like that. But the cards, and in terms of it being kind of scripted, is kind of gone because of the card system that I just mentioned before. So, welcome to this new series called The Dawn of Civilization. I've always wanted to do something like this. So, here we are then. We won't bother with nation names because I don't see much point in doing that. I'm very bad with names anyway, but here we go then. So, a few people on these mountains, they've all lived together in little tents and stuff like that, but one guy has proposed a deal to all the tribe's members. Why don't we unite into one nation to grow our claims and further benefit the people? So they expand themselves along the river, eventually connecting up with the ocean and following more of the rivers down south, where they find another inland sea and another river. They manage to connect their territories up here in the east with these rivers and start to do so along the coast as well. This is the first ever nation. Pretty big for a first nation. They are not doing too badly for themselves. As more people continue to like this idea, they continue their expansion and start to fill in the missing gaps in their territory. And because they discovered an ocean over this side, they decide to go over to the east to see if they can find another one, and they successfully do so. And they find a lot of islands, some of which they start to take and start to make them as fishing areas. They continue their expansion over here, successfully get more islands for the fish, and start to connect up the territory in the east even more. This first nation is doing pretty well for itself, as it is pretty powerful. Actually, it's pretty powerful, pretty strong, and they continue to show their expansion as they reach down to this island, claim it as theirs, and go along the coast to try and meet up with the island. In following down south, where they meet this river again, find more islands and grab this one on the coast of this island, but they don't expand any more south as it does get a bit too hot down here, aka there's a desert down there. Over in the centre of the kingdom, there is more rivers that they claim. A group of people in weird hats decide to go up towards the king and ask him that we are only here because of the gods. The gods have put us here and they have given us this wonderful territory, all free for ourselves, and for us to expand and claim it all and unite it all under one glorious nation. So they form their own religion. Some people are against this religion, and they are not too happy with random people going up to the king and saying, hey, you should do this, and then believing and doing as they say. These people think that the king is pathetic, and they're not going to listen to him, and they're going to become their own nation to say that they are, and to say that they are going to have a more competent king, and a king that's actually going to listen, and not just bow down to some random people in hats. As this nation gets their freedom, they also take over the red team's port city, which is crucial for them as they can now use that as their capital. The red team is not happy about this, but unfortunately there is nothing they can do, as a new nation also gets their independence. Seeing that the blue team did it so easily, they're going to do the same. There is the birth of a brand new purple nation. As well as the blue team not liking the king, they didn't like the people in the weird hats, so they decided to also form their own religion against those people in the hats. Purple team does the same thing and makes their own religion, and the red team's capital is found on the map, as it is the first ever city and one of the biggest cities in the entire world at this moment. Although the world is not that big, it's just 3 nations. The purple team unites with the blue team, making the blue team even stronger. The red team is understandably upset about this, but they don't really care. They've got more land to go and take. Some people in the Empire was not a big fan of this union between the two nations, so they've rebelled and become their own nation once again. It's not much though, it's only a small thing in the corner where the purple team was, and it's not all the purple team. The purple team is back independent, and the purple-blue team is a bit upset about this, but it's whatever. The blue team finds another island over here, and they actually declare war on this purple nation that just rebelled to try and regain the territory they lost. Because the purple team has just rebelled from the blue team, they're not going to have much of a military or much people to help fight, so the blue team kind of just steamrolls over the purple nation and they give up. The blue team then decides to use this momentum to explore more down south, and much like in the west, they also stop because of the desert, deciding to take to the hills instead. The red team does the same thing as the blue team and uses the hills as a lookout to locate more land and see where the best value is. Blue team continues its expansion on the hills, and they successfully connect up the territory along the hills from the east to the west. The red team continues heading up north as the temperature gets much cooler, but not freezing cold yet. This sort of area is like a jungle type thing, kind of like a jungle, kind of like a plains thing. It's like a mix. More plains in the north and jungles in the south. As the red team continues to head up north, they locate a new nation, or a new group of tribesmen that have formed their own kingdom. As they have heard news about the red team doing this, they decide to do it as well. Birth of a brand new orange nation. In the north, it kind of stops the red team's expansion over this way, so they are a bit upset about it, but they might try and use the orange team as an ally. Unfortunately for the blue team, that rebellion is not going to go away so easy, as once again the rebellion is back. Much like before, it takes the same territory. Blue team decides to say nah and takes it back again. Once again, for the third time, I think, for the third time in a row, the purple team is gone. The red team gets their fish port on the map, as this becomes the city with the highest trade, food production in the world at the moment. The orange team actually decides to adopt the red religion, making the red religions grow even stronger. The blue team also gets a second city on the map. The old purple team's capital is now on the map, as it's a major city for the blue team. Due to the orange team adopting the red religion, the orange team decides to join the red team. The red team is now absolutely massive and extremely powerful. The blue team is probably scared right now. During this union, over by the rivers, there is a brand new nation that is formed. It completely surrounds this river, as they use this as their main food resource, and they also decide to head down the river towards the ocean. The brand new green nation. The red team attempts to make good relations with the green team, because, well, they just lost an ally, so, I mean, they did lose an ally, they just incorporated them in their own empire, but they want more friends. The blue's old capital is now on the map as well. They've now got 3 major cities. That is more than the red team at the moment. Guess who's back? And once again, the blue team's like, no, not going to happen. Nutter number 2, Nutter 2, the sequel to Nutter 1. They're not having it, but they don't actually manage to take back the purple team, as this time the purple team actually put up quite a fight to try and stay free. Explorers from both the green team and the red team decide to explore along the coast. In doing so, they meet each other and decide to form their own nation separate from the green and red teams, forming this blue nation. The green team also decides to adopt the red religion. As the religion of the gods continue to grow, the blue team decides to make contact with the red team, leaving the red team to kind of run out of expansion areas. They're kind of running out of options here. They also cross the river to meet up with the green team. Don't forget, these are people who were from these two nations. They decided to just meet up, probably for their family or friends or something. After a bit more fighting on this border, the purple team just does not want to give up, and they still continue to exist. So the blue team is going to let them live. They've given up and realized it's probably not a good idea with this massive red empire right here. Unfortunately for the blue team, that was not a good move, as this purple nation actually decides to unite with the red team, meaning that the red team is now across the river and across the sea onto the mainland of the blue team. This has raised tensions between the two drastically, and now they really hate each other, as if they didn't already. The green nation finds a river and decides to follow it, and they find the coast again. Up very north, in the cold, snowy lands, a new nation is formed, a dark purple one. These people are big fans of the ocean. They find these 2 islands, find a river, a very big purple nation. The light blue capital is now on the map. On the plains of the northeast, a new gold nation is formed. This might be good for these two, as the red nation is pretty powerful, and the purple nation could be pretty powerful naval-wise. It's good that there's something to separate the two. Despite the dark purple team's success in the north, these islands don't like being part of the purple nation and say no thank you, and they leave. The red team finally makes contact with the gold team. One split and both these nations can be ruined. The light blue nation forms their own religion. It's kind of a mix between the green team culture and the red team's religion. The gold team forms their own religion as well, completely separate to every other one. The dark purple's capital is on the map. It's on this weird peninsula thing. And the blue team finally clears off the remaining parts of their land as they find 2 islands down here and continue along the coast, very much near the desert, but they're sticking to the coast so they have some sort of water source. And they find a peninsula down here. Continue along the coast. Before finding another island, they decide to stop and take a break. Just as the blue team starts an expansion down south, they meet a brand new yellow nation based on this peninsula, and this nation very much knows this land and the terrain, so if they ever get threatened, they can very easily beat back any of the empires, including the red one and the blue one. They know this territory like the back of their hands. The blue team continues to expand inwards towards more of the plains and reach the bottom of the mountains again. The lime green's capital is now on the map. A new nation is formed based on this river, much like the green team, although they're very different in what they believe and their culture, as well as the establishment of another nation on this hill. And once again on this hill, there is another nation. For the blue team, the expansion down south was way too much at too little time, and unfortunately for them, the whole south of the nation decides to rebel, taking over pretty much all of the desert terrain that they just discovered. Purple team founds their own religion in the north, as more of these minor nations down in the plains have some splits, unfortunately. On this island here in this lake, there's a new nation that's formed. It's a bright orange one, making their way over towards these hills to locate the land and scout to see where's best to expand next. This small pink nation decides to get their own religion. A new nation is formed over here, just outside, just the other side of the mountains. There it is. Very, very long one, this one. And that is where we'll leave the first episode of this Dawn of Civilization series. Hope you guys enjoy it. I'm enjoying it. I think this is great. Next episode, we continue where we left off and see what happens to these nations. I'll go through the maps as we talk for you guys, because I know some of you might be interested in these. If you have names for the places, do let me know. I would definitely love to hear them, and I'll definitely change all sorts of capitals, the ports, everything, even the mountain names or the plain names. If you have any of them, feel free to share them. I'll put them on the map. I'm not very good with names, so I haven't named them myself. Comment down below what nation you're voting for. I can't pick a bias in my own series, but I know what it would be. So if you did enjoy this episode, please leave a like, subscribe and comment. And if you can do all that for me, that'd be great. I'd really appreciate it. Let's try and get this new series to, let's say, 10 likes for now. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day and have a good one.